Hello, this is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. On today's podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about clarity as it relates to controlling your numbers. So clarity as it relates to controlling your numbers. So I'm going to talk about four different areas as it relates to having clarity. And so four areas that we need to have clarity in our business if we are really going to be able to drive our business forward. And a lot of this is going to involve numbers. And of course, undoubtedly, probably most business owners and most of you that are listening have heard this phrase, knowing your numbers. You need to know your numbers. And that's true. You do need to know your numbers as a business owner. And I think that for most business owners, if not all business owners, they really need to be into their numbers at least once a week and be looking at different numbers inside of their business once a week. But it isn't just enough to know your numbers. You really kind of need to know what numbers you should be looking at. But they also, those numbers that you're looking at need to be in alignment with your vision. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today on this podcast. So first of all, the first thing we need to have is a clear vision. We need to have a clear vision. And of course, I've talked about this in previous podcasts, and this is talked about a lot. Having a vision, having clarity as to the vision as it relates to your company. Now, a lot of times, those of us who are business owners, we have goals. We may have annual goals. Hopefully we have not just annual goals, maybe have 3 to 5 year goals. And a lot of times, kind of the direction that we're heading, we always don't. What we think or what we want our business to look like 3 or 5 years down the road isn't always what the business ends up looking like. And I think most of the time it doesn't look like that. Sometimes it ends up being a lot more, a lot different. But I think it's good to have these goals. I also think it's good to have shorter timeline goals as well. But ultimately, you need to have a clear vision. You need to have a clear direction that you're wanting to head. And for some of our clients in the accounting firm that I own, they have different types of goals. And but most of them have a kind of a larger vision. This is the overall purpose, the overall why of what we're trying to do, and this is what we need to do as far as from a goal standpoint to be able to reach that vision. I have a client that my brother-in-law who has a vision of really trying to impact a local city here in the area that's really in kind of a distressed state. And so in order to do that, he's kind of boiled this down to goals. So he has monthly goals, he has annual goals, he has 3 to 5 year goals, and he understands that this overall vision is probably going to be a 3 to 5 decade process in order to see that vision fulfilled. It is a really, really long-term vision, but he's kind of boiled that down into shorter goals. And he knows if he hits that goal, if he hits those goals, that ultimately that overall vision, he'll see success or he'll see achievement of that particular vision. So you need to have a clear vision with clear goals. And within those goals, if you don't have those, you're not going to know exactly what you need to measure. So, for example, if you're in real estate, and many of our clients are, they may kind of and they may have their goals boiled down to, I need to purchase X number of properties a month. I need to have 10 properties in service this year as rentals. I need to purchase 5 short-term rentals within the next 6 months in order for me to reach my goals for the year. So whatever it is, they've kind of taken that vision, they boiled it down into goals, and they know that these are the things that they need to do within their business. If you have a service business, it may be a revenue number, but then you're going to take that revenue number and you're going to boil it down into different metrics to make sure that the revenue number is really truly what is the number that you need to be looking at in order to reach your overall goals and ultimately to achieve your vision. So first of all, to have a clear vision. Secondly, you need to have a clear picture. So you need to have a clear picture of what's going on in your business. And one of the ways that you can do this is to really have a process in place to really understand your numbers, to have clarity as to your numbers. How is your business truly performing? And a lot of times business owners, unfortunately, they kind of manage their business by checkbook. So they kind of look into how much cash I have in the business, and that's how they go about making their decisions. Do I have enough cash in the bank to do X, Y, or Z? That is not a good way to run your business. It's not a good way to run your personal finances. There does need to be some controls there. So there does need to be clarity as to a budget. And I think every business needs to have needs to have that operations budget. If they're doing projects, you need to have budgets on projects, and all of this needs to be done prior to getting into a project. You need to have a budget in place prior to getting into a year or into a quarter. Of course, these numbers may be fluid. If your business is growing, like mine is, the budget's going to change. Okay, but there are certain aspects. Once you get into a project, for example, I mentioned many of our clients being in real estate. Once they get into a project, they need to have a budget for that particular project, and they need to operate within that budget. And so you've gone in and you've done some proper planning before you get into the particular project. You've done good planning before you entered a year or into a quarter to make sure that the money is going to get deployed into the right areas so that your business is profitable, so that you're going to do ultimately what every at least for-profit business goal is, and that is to be profitable. And that way, hopefully, you can move past profitability into scaling your business or into that legacy piece, succession piece, if that's the direction you're wanting to go. So you need to have a good process in place to provide a clear picture of the numbers. And I talk about budget, but you also need to have performance indicators. Some people refer to these as KPIs, key performance indicators. I've done podcasts in the past as far as depending on what phase of business you're in, what indicators you may be wanting to look at. But you need to understand these are the indicators that I need to be analyzing so you know what dials to turn in your business to be able to, and it may be from a cost end, it may be from a performance end. It may be to understand this is how much money you need to put into marketing, understanding from your team side, what do you have expectations as far as on performance, etc. So you need to have these pieces in your business that you are measuring. So you need to know what dials you need to turn, whether up or down, to be able to reach those goals. So if it's a revenue goal, you need to understand what dials you have to turn in order to be able to increase revenue. If it's kind of one of those issues where you have where you need to know that you need to make X number of phone calls to be able to achieve this amount in sales. And so you need to kind of understand what you need to do in order to be able to drive the numbers that are important in your business to be able to reach the goals that you have. Now, this goes beyond just simply looking at the numbers. A lot of this you'll find ends up happening through communication with your team. Here at the firm level, we'll take on particular projects from time to time, and when we do, one conversation I'll have with the team is that and sometimes it'll be maybe in our weekly meeting, or this will be one-on-one conversations as we talk inside the office. Will be, okay, how much time are we investing in this particular client? So we kind of have an idea on the front end. This is what we're going to. This is the amount of time that we're going to spend on the project, and where are we at as far as from our time end, and are we effectively using our time? What are the pain points that you're experiencing? And so that's going to do a couple things for us. First of all, it's going to it's going to give us a good handle on whether or not this is we want to do more work for this client, or we want to continue on with this engagement. We want to work with this client another year, or if we need to increase cost in the future, or if we need to change our overall process as it relates to pricing. But a lot of this you aren't going to know unless you're communicating with your team. And then beyond just, okay, how much time, how much are we spending in materials in this particular project, but also the emotional aspect of it as well. Is doing this type of project, is this something that brings fulfillment to the team? Is this something that they enjoy doing? Regardless if it's profitable, if it's something that you and the team don't enjoy doing, then it's probably something you're not going to want to do again in the future. So that's only going to come through the dialogue as well. So you can have all the profit in the world, but if the enjoyment isn't there, if the fulfillment isn't there in doing the work, then of course not all work and all that we do is going to be enjoyable. But I think overall, most of what we do really should kind of sit in that area. Each team member should be operating in an area that they're doing what they enjoy doing. And so that's only going to come once again through communication. And then also finding out what is the experience with the customer or the client. Is this somebody that we want to continue working with? And so once again, that's only going to come through communication. So knowing the numbers, the KPIs inside of your business that you need to monitor, that you need to control, but also having the conversation, the communication with the team members to know whether or not this is something that we are enjoying doing. So first of all, we need to have a clear vision with clear goals. Secondly, we need to have a clear picture. Third, we need to make clear decisions. And this is only going to come through making sure that we have those numbers in front of us, that we're looking at those numbers, we're analyzing those numbers, and then we're talking to and we're communicating well with our team members. And so if we're doing all of those things, then we'll be able to make a good decision. Decisions become easy. I have a phone call a little bit later on today on a contract that we're servicing, and it's going to be one. I actually had a conversation yesterday. Had a conversation with the team this morning whether or not this is something we want to do another year. And it goes beyond just the numbers. We talked about numbers, but we also got into talking about the quote-unquote emotion side. Is this something that's working for us? Is this aligned culturally with our company culture? And is this something that we're going to find fulfillment in continuing to do? So once we've kind of done, we've had those conversations, we've looked at the numbers, it makes the decisions easier. It allows for us to make clear and good decisions. And then lastly, number 4, we need to have clear direction. And so this is going to step beyond just us many times, but the only way we're going to be able to unleash our company's potential, our company's ability to maximize profit is going to include not just having good KPIs, having good budgets, having good team members, but also good strategy. So we're able to have a good strategy as it relates to our business, to know how do we steer this ship, so to speak, how do we move in the direction, and many times it's going to involve bringing in people alongside us. And so being able to make good decisions in the business and have a clarity as it relates to the direction that we are going. And so this is going to come through strategy. This is going to come through our systems inside of our business. So do we have good systems in place, a good operating system in place, a good financial control systems in place, and then also bringing along people alongside of us as far as advisors to help us to be able to grow that business, be able to scale that business. So clarity as far as control inside of our business, control of the numbers. First of all, we need to have a clear vision with clear goals. Secondly, we need to have a clear picture of what's going on inside of our business. Third, we need to make good, clear decisions. And lastly, make sure that we have clarity in the direction that we are going. Hope this particular podcast brought value to you. Once again, my name is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. Have a wonderful day.